Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's July 11th, 2018. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing today? So, we've been talking about the possibility and indeed the probability of an economic collapse for some time now. Anyone who's been with me for a while will know that you know, I think that's the most likely shit hit the fan scenario, or at least did at one time. Although I still do think that it's a high likelihood that the economics end of things is the thing that will push everything else over the edge. For example, help create the civil war everybody's been talking about. I'm here at shtfplan.com. Globalists are telling us exactly what disasters they're planning for the economy. This comes from Brandon Smith of the alt market. And I don't support political candidates, okay? I don't. And I never will. So years ago, when analysts used the term globalist, there was an immediate recognition among liberty advocates as to who they were referring to. This was back when the movement for small government, the non-aggression principle, and true free markets was small, but growing. These days, it's difficult to gauge how many liberty groups there are, or even if they know what small government and the non-aggression principle represent, let alone what makes a globalist a globalist. There are a lot of new and very green members to push for freedom, and a lot of them seem to think MAGA, or Make America Great Again, is the pinnacle of the movement's philosophy. But MAGA doesn't represent much of anything tangible. Making America Great Again is not a plan, it's just a goal. Or even less, just a catchphrase. You know, like, yes we can. Without concrete plans, the notion of achieving a goal is laughable. Make no mistake, the globalists have concrete plans, some of them simple, some of them rather elaborate. But who are the globalists? There's really no secret to it. Any person or institution that promotes the philosophy of global centralization of economic or political power, both, into the hands of a select few is probably a globalist. There's no specific nationality, ethnic group, or religious group that makes up the globalist hierarchy. They come from every part of the world and from every conceivable background. They have their private clubs like the Bilderberg Group and the Bohemian Club or Grove. They also have their own institutional frameworks like the Council of Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Tavistock Institute, the International Monetary Fund, the Bank for International Settlements, but these are all distractions and misdirections. At the core of their organization is a desire for total power, built upon full-blown narcissism and sociopathy, leading to naive notions of, or that godhood for them is attainable. Now, one might assume these globalists would never restrain themselves with such a thing as rules of etiquette, or etiquette, that chaos is their sole strategy. However, this is not entirely accurate. From my observations, it appears that they do follow some rules. One of those rules seems to be this. For whatever reason, they willingly and openly volunteer their plans or reveal future outcomes to the public for consumption before they implement those plans or trigger those outcomes. And of course, I've explained to you, the subscriber, that it's a rule of their religion that they tell you what they're going to do before they do it. And the way they do it is they slip it into a Simpsons episode or a card game or a movie. And, you know, and because of this, people don't take it seriously. Oh, it's just a movie. Oh, it's just The Simpsons. Oh, it's just the card game. Even though a lot of these things seen inside of the movies and The Simpsons and in these card games, or in this card game, specifically the Illuminati card game, even though they're pretty fucking accurate, people won't take it seriously because it's embedded in an entertainment venue. The rationale behind this could be any number of things. Perhaps it is a method of gloating, or being high-level narcissists. They would psychologically be in the habit of hinting at the crimes they plan to commit, and then view our lack of reaction as permission to go forward. My theory is a combination of both, as well as the idea that revealing a plan and then enacting a plan without resistance gives that plan even more power than if it had been kept strictly hidden. I mean, after all, if you don't say anything or do anything about it, it's consent, right? What the globalists want ultimately is public acceptance and submission to their authority. They don't want to have to operate from behind the curtain. They are narcissists. They don't like hiding. What are some examples of this behavior? In 2007, the Bank for International Settlements issued a public warning that loose monetary policy by central banks had created a dangerous credit bubble that would result in a global Great Depression. Of course, being the central bank of central banks and the moderator of all central bank policy, the BIS itself was well positioned to create such a crisis. Only months later, the crash occurred, and we are still suffering the consequences. In January of 2017, globalist George Soros predicted that Donald Trump would use his presidency to launch a trade war with China, and that this trade war would drive Europe and China closer together as political and economic allies while U.S. influence wanes. This year, the U.S. has indeed entered into a trade war with China as tariffs escalate and greater threats to Chinese investment in America or in American markets percolate. And China and major EU governments like Germany are indeed establishing a much closer tie, or are establishing much closer ties than ever before. Germany, at some point in the very near future, when it's to their economic advantage, will pull BMW out of the United States. There will be no manufacturing of BMWs here. China's going to get those jobs. Whether or not U.S. influences wanes remains to be seen. Considering the number of banking elite roaming the halls of the White House, I think it is obviously possible that they could make Soros's prediction a reality with or without Trump's cooperation. And of course, they're getting Trump's cooperation. Keep in mind that Donald Trump has been owned by the bankers for some time now. The globalists sabotage from within, causing the exact disasters they publicly predicted, then escape as the blame is laid in the laps of predetermined scapegoats like populists like Donald Trump. And this habit of openly acknowledging their own impending crimes continues today. In the past year alone, the IMF, BIS, WTO, as well as numerous individual globalists have given warning as to what is about to happen economically and geopolitically in the near future. The IMF is warning that trade tensions threaten to undermine economic confidence and global growth as the globalists that infest that institution play on the false narrative that the world has been in economic recovery. The truth is that we never recovered from the 2008 crash, and all semblance of recovery was fabricated by central bank stimulus measures, the same measures that central banks around the world are now shutting down. At the end of 2017, the BIS warned that economies were overheating and that this trend was dangerously similar to the conditions of 2008, just before the credit crash. Suddenly, the term stagflation, a threat alternative analysis analysts like myself were warning about for years, is being discussed broadly in the mainstream media. Not only that, but central banks are using the threat of inflationary pressure as an excuse to continue raising interest rates and cutting their balance sheets, actions which they know full well will cause the next stock market crash, among other things. Jerome Powell, the new head of the Federal Reserve, clearly warned of this danger back in 2012 as exposed in recently released Fed meeting transcripts, and yet he is taking these actions anyway. Now, if they take actions they know already are going to cause something, wouldn't it be hard to argue that it wasn't intentional? If this doesn't prove the duplicitous nature of the Fed as a predictor of the very crisis it then creates, I don't know what does. It is not convenient for the globalists that their predictions of crisis fail to mention that the central banks which they control are fabricating or facilitating the very conditions by which a crash can occur. Or is it not convenient, rather? You see, globalists are perfectly happy to tell you in advance what is about to happen, but they are never, ever going to tell you the truth about why. Now, make no mistake about it, people. These people want us poor. They want you dumbed down. They want you defenseless. And they want you dead. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stand idly by and allow yourself and your family, your children, everybody you love to be either killed by economic means or just direct, brutal confrontation? Confrontation that you're ill-equipped for? I hope you don't choose that path. I hope you choose the path that I lay out for you. The path of rebellion. The path of standing. The path of true, real, and tangible freedom. I hope you choose that path. All I can do is present this information to you in hopes that that's exactly what you'll do. My channel has suffered a major setback, and my message isn't getting out far and wide, and I need my subscribers' help. For those of you who have stuck with me for a while now, you know I'm right. You know I am. Please, I need your help. I need you to help me. I need you to like and share so I get more subscribers. So more people understand exactly what is at stake, because nobody else is telling them. I mean, sure, there are many channels out there like High Impact Vlogs, and Brian does a great job. But you see, nobody is saying that we have to put our bodies on the line. We have to put everything on the line. They spoke about the non-aggression principle in the beginning of this article. And I totally agree with the non-aggression principle, except that it will only work on people who accept the non-aggression principle and utilize it and live it. Clearly, the police departments don't adhere to this. Clearly, the government doesn't adhere to this. Clearly, we've been under sustained attack for decades. So, the non-aggression principle is a nice thought, but it's not the reality we live in. We are already being aggressed upon. We are already being shot in the streets. We are already slaves to the monetary system. So, exactly how is the non-aggression principle going to help us with that? I venture to say that it's not. What it's going to do is continue to bind us. Continue to bind our hands. The non-aggression principle only works on those who practice it. And anybody else, they're not going to fucking adhere to that. They're going to use it against you. That's what I would do if I were one of them. Oh, they think harming others is a bad thing, no matter what. And believe me, a lot of people will say no matter what. Now, yes, others acknowledge the difference, but they don't go far enough as to say, you're already under attack, and the non-aggression principle does not apply to this situation. So, I hope you, my subscriber, I hope you help me. And you can help me in various ways. You can like my videos. You can share my videos. You could help me to gain more subscribers. You can throw me some change on PayPal. All these things would help. You can subscribe to my backup channel, Anti-Authoritarian. Link is in the description box along with my PayPal link. But make no mistake about it. Whether you help me spread this message or not, it is the reality of the matter. Do you want more people going the other way, or would you rather them become balanced and logically thinking people? Anyway, I hope everyone has a great day, and please do subscribe to my backup channel. Please do give me a thumbs up. Please do share, and please do throw me some change if you can. Till next time, people. Kill the state before the state kills you.